Hey, welcome to the next channel. So usually I shoot video episodes with beard on, and sometimes I do put color on my hair. I thought it is quite interesting. This episode I thought let me just cover, because this is something often I get mails, tons and tons of mails I get from viewers, especially from viewers from India, saying that how I can become a device driver programmer and stuff like that. The reason is they generally go through by the time they complete the college, they have various options available. Some may think about getting into application development, and some may get into other domains, and some may think about getting into core systems programming, and they find it is lucrative when it comes to the jobs other than testing jobs. Okay, they find it is lucrative to get as a device driver developer. They may hear someone who they are ex college senior, or or else some batchmate, or else their relatives, friend, someone is working in a company and getting a good pay and stuff like that. So they feel it's lucrative, and they feel they also tend to do the same specialization and get into something like device drivers and stuff like that. And often they can browse through various job openings. So you can see here, I just opened Cisco, because since they do have a lot of hardware they do by themselves. I mean, this is a video episode I'm taking, keeping the aspect of beginners. I don't tend to say freshers, because many of my videos are seen worldwide, and I need to use a term which is globally sort of used. So I need to use that word beginner, because beginner can be anyone who is in the school. They can become a device driver developer, and even they can manage to find a job in Google. Doesn't matter. It is just you have the right skills, and if the company finds you talented, and they can't resist, they can see the talent inside you, they can hire you at any age. So this is what is the industry. So you don't need any specific qualification or something, and then you are eligible for something. This is something which will be there as an industry standard, but it is not a hard-coded rule. I am speaking this as a business person also. So this is what is the industry. So having said that, coming back to the topic, you can go through any couple of job requirements. So generally they go through these requirements, whether it is a job portal like Monster or something, or else in a company website. You can see here device drivers kernel. You can type something like this, and you can find any openings are there, and they mention specific criteria. And let me just open the same and even in Wipro as well. So device driver kernel, job option, job location, keyword. Okay, and you can type stop career device drivers kernel, something like that. You can search, because end of the day device drivers you do in kernel space, not anywhere else. So something like that may get you some results. I didn't got anything, so let's just do maybe just device drivers alone, and no other preferences we set, and we see. Yeah, you can see there are some match over here. Developer embedded and stuff like that. So some they may say other things as well as device drivers and stuff like that. So let's take one example, couple of examples in this, and let's take in Cisco. I found this is an interesting example. You can find here senior lead C, and then device driver developer, and below there are some firmware driver, firmware senior level firmware engineer and stuff like that they need. And this is for job location SF California US, and this is for Bangalore India. So let's open this. You can see their criteria. They kind of mention it is like security. Maybe it is related to something related to security aspect. So it is more preferable in case if you have that as well as this specialization and stuff like that. So in this you can see here they said which team it needs, so they are telling what Cisco is all about. This is about some kind of companies intro, that what they are good at and stuff like that. So they generally mention that, and here they mention about the role of that specific position, what are the job responsibilities. So if you go through here the required skills and other stuff, you can see their criteria is someone who is quite senior level and somebody who is 8 to 12 years of industrial experience, especially in that core level experience. It is in Linux, C++, and then they mention about embedded as well as other stuff, and in the highly desired skills, because they are looking for someone who is doing or done device drivers in or kernel space development with device drivers as well. So all this they have given some other eligible criteria. It is about networking products and device drivers, and kernel programming is a plus, and file systems and stuff like that, because again it is something related to what is that team is basically working on. And also they mention hands-on with configuring network and security devices, and development experience in FreeBSD and or Linux environment. So this is their job description. Whereas in Wipro you can see it is something else, and they mention about this RTOS, BSP and other stuff. So this is something is what beginners once they go through, they get some kind of idea, they see these keywords, and then they feel of course in the college they are not learnt about all these things in a focused way, because everything the college covers, end of the day what college gives you is just some very basics about everything, that's it. It doesn't master you into anything specific. So this is something colleges lack, and of course it's an issue because colleges are from academic background, they generally focus about overall coverage. So they give in large quantities, but they don't go in depth in any verticals. So here what is the job requirement is a specific vertical, whereas the college gives you that horizontal coverage of all that. They teach you everything, and then they assess your knowledge in all aspects. Okay, you may have third semester or fourth semester about Java, and then they ask you all questions about Java, but you don't ever want to be a Java developer. So this is what something any college does. Okay, versus something, if you go to a real job market, you will find something, and some people will tend to like getting into systems, and some people will be driven because it is very challenging and stuff like that. Especially men are more interested working towards the systems. So they go through all these things, and then they feel how they can master themselves. They do Google and they do find various things, and they are really confused after this where to go about, or else they will find an institute who tells that they teach some embedded programming, and then something about kernel and device driver courses and stuff like that. So when it comes to institutes, what happens is it is just extension of a college. The college, as I said, it teaches you everything. It doesn't go to any vertical. Okay, so there is the big problem with the college education. You do masters, you do PhD. Again, what you learn, end of the day, what an industry needs is just there is a complete mismatch. Okay, it is what it is, because colleges teach you everything, but it is not something, any specific skills, anything they focus and teach. So they give large quantities again. So the next option is you need to approach an institute. The big problem with institute is their objective is, it is a commercial establishment. First you should understand, including your college, it's a commercial establishment. It is end of the day, they have not built and provided that infrastructure just for this thing. So it is also the money making aspect comes, and of course they need to pay for the staff and the infrastructure. Okay, you should not always tell that anyone charges money. They are greedy about money making. It's also you need to give the service back. So it's what it is. So when you are so happy about wasting your money and buying one more expensive iPhone, why not you think even paying for the college is in an expensive commodity, even it is very much useful for your life. So I don't say that college is completely useless. It has its own role. You will mingle with a lot of students, and you don't come up in terms of your technical capabilities alone. You will come up with socio-economic aspects. There are so many things are there, so you can build your soft skills and various things are there. So college has a role. The moment you step out of the college, I mean you complete the college and they go and approach any institute, again the problem is they are again from that same educational background. So what is the thing is, so they again provide something, a specific vertical, whether it is about a Java course or whether it is about something about SAP or database or else systems and the kernel and embedded and stuff like that. So they tailor that course structure so that these aspects are covered. But problem is, once again, institutes in general, day in day out, whoever teaches in the institute, okay, they work that as a full time. They don't do anything which is a real world code. So this is again a problem. Okay, so people also generally, when they even approach me, they ask whether I get the course material and stuff like that. See, your entire internet is the course material. You don't need any other course material. Okay, so that is what most of the times they get really confused about how to kind of themselves prepare for that aspect. So again, getting back to the institutes, so they tailor all these things. So they make some fancy code the fancy course material, and then they summarize everything in that nice course material, and then they will have classes and sessions. But the takeaway is that the person who teaches in the institute are they are not much different from your average college lecturers or professors, so-called, or HODs in the college. So all this entire teaching community is all about teaching something which is all in the books and stuff like that. But the actual industry is something else. See, this job profile, what Cisco has said, it is something specific to that team. So the manager says to the HR, the manager sends this to the HR saying that, hey, I need the so and so stuff, and the HR sends it to the other teams downward, and finally it comes as a job post, and it creates like a job ID. You can see here it has a specific job ID, so they can track this and they can do some follow-up actually. So this is what happens, and whenever that requirement closes, maybe the manager closes that job ID. So this is what in a company happens, and something else they are working in that some specific stuff they are working, again the manager creates another job ID, and then this is what happens. Or else he will send to the HR does, in a way some or other person does that and they post it over here. So this is what happens. And sometimes if anyone quits in the team, again the manager or concerned team should do that, or a lead will do that, and they will do this process over and over again. So that's how these job vacancies are created in the first place. And it is also driven by, on top of this, the team formation and doing a project, it is driven by the top management, and the business aspect is involved. So let's not go much in depth, but this is how first of all a job is created. So they ask something very specific, and something you have worked earlier in a specific case. They don't mind immediately, they will ask you to join, and then they in fact sometimes pay you more money in case if you have you have to break some contract of that previous company, something. They sometimes give this compensation, and then they can make you join immediate. So that's what so the companies are so dynamic, and things are always changing in the companies, and they see in this business aspect, some business aspect comes, and then they form a team, and then they work on the project and or product, and the things are so dynamic. As you understand, each year there is a new phone release, each month there is a phone release. After this release, each company does their own phone release, and so this happens over and over again, and based on that, of course, they do that work in the backend. So when it comes to systems, systems is a sort of a domain. Overall, the domain is kind of different than application space. This is something I have discussed. I don't want to discuss much in this episode. So you will get less vacancies in systems domain versus something like SAP, because they work in banking, something about CRM, something about anything related to that side of aspect, a database and other stuff. So that is, you will get bulk requirement, but whenever there is some issue, you can also have lot of competition. You can also find lot of very much eligible candidates in application space, in Java applications, in Android or iPhone applications. You can find lot of competition. So getting a job in that competition is difficult, but once in a while there is also a possibility that you can easily get a job, versus in a systems context the requirement will be small, and even though it's a large company, and they don't hire that frequent. At the same time, that fluidity is not much, and it is and also you need to have very good know-how in system. So there are a lot of other criteria involved. It is not something like application space. It is really like systems is like somebody who is a surgeon. Application development is like someone who does plastic surgery, or someone who does at the max a cosmetic, or some beautician. So that's, they just put makeup on top of your existing skin. They don't go anything inside invasive. So there's a lot of difference between someone who is doing a systems level programming versus someone who is in that cosmetic stuff. I don't deny that web itself have many challenging technologies, which is cutting edge, but again I'm saying that is something completely different. So this is what institutes they kind of tend to teach, again the same books, but more towards this vertical, a specific vertical. And then again they don't again have one of the big drawback is they again don't have the industrial experience. So someone who have done course in that institute can become a teacher or instructor in the same institute. Same way, someone who have studied in the college, after completing his bachelor's, can complete his master's and then become a lecturer in the same college. Just imagine how this guy can give a real world scenario to you. So this is where the disconnect exists. So coming back to this device driver logic, this is again a big mistake all beginners do. Is the main purpose of shooting video is it is like they see this kind of a job description, they feel okay, they are asking skills in Linux, C++, and some programming and embedded, and then device drivers and kernel. So they find an institute which matches these keywords, and then they feel okay, let me complete this course. Automatically I'm eligible for such a kind of job profile. Let's assume they are not mentioning it is 8 to 12 years, so they are telling even 1 to 2+ years experience, or even freshers are eligible. So they see that criteria, they try to match this. The big problem is it's a long journey. First and foremost, device driver is like you are some cardiac surgeon or some neurologist. So first, to become a neurologist, you need to do your schooling in biology as your elective subject or whatever, and then after schooling you need to do medical bachelor's in medicine, and after that maybe something in between. After that you can go to a specific specialization. Again, it depends actually. In between, how many levels are there? I'm not sure. I'm not good in. I'm not an expert in that, so that is not my domain, but I'm just giving a comparison. So same way, a device driver, even you think about device driver, first you think about your C skills, and are you able to write a meaningful code is the big question. Is I'm not saying some string reversals, some bitwise characters, or some pointer stuff, or some linked list, or some kind of college kid coding. I'm saying, are you able to do some real code, okay, real application with C or something like that. So first, that is something is a basic eligibility criteria for getting to the next level. So if you are good at it, you should be good naturally in user space programming. You should also have fair amount of knowledge in various things in user space programming. Take for instance in Linux IPCs, and after that you can take this load sharing and stuff like that. I don't say always multi-process and multi-threading, all this bullshit. It's just about a specific way. I mean, it's just about a specific thing, but what is the objective of doing multi-threading is about load sharing. Sometimes you do, sometimes you can also do failover systems by doing multi-processing or multi threading, so something like that. So the main objective is that instead of focusing that in the college textbooks, they just only teach you about multi-threading or something, which is just useless actually. So if you don't know the real actual purpose in the industry, what is the use of learning something which you may use or you may not use? So that is also there. So various other aspects in user space about, of course, file APIs, file editing and stuff like that. So other than that, the other aspect in user space is kernel itself. In the systems level, towards the journey of device driver is kernel itself. So first you need to know a lot of things about Linux kernel. So that itself is not going to take you anywhere if you go in some crash course of 10 days or 1 week in any institute or something like that. I'm telling you, it's a big joke. And if you are thinking, okay, let me download some 5 PDFs or go and get 5 textbooks in kernel space programming, that is also a bullshit actually. I'm telling you, the kernel programming starts from kernel source. There is no other option. Open the kernel source, go through the kernel source, and then keep the book. Sometimes you can refer the book about some conceptual introduction. Rest of the times, spend time in going through the kernel code. This is how an industry approaches, not some student or a beginner. So do that, and then you can get some know-how. Okay, open the kernel source, open this, okay, or else you can download from kernel.org. If you want to become a device driver, before that you should know the Linux kernel first, okay, and then you can download the source, open the source, and go through all that, okay, various subsystems, and then keep that textbook as a reference. When you read some introduction, refer and cross compare with the code, because code is there they have told something, the author of the book must have told lies, or maybe he is mistaken about something. So cross check and verify with the kernel code. And then once you are a master in kernel's part, okay, kernel also have many parts, okay, you have the platform part, you have the technology part, you have drivers, you have various other things. So and it's other upper layers and below lower layers and stuff like. So get familiar with kernel first, and then if you are fine, if you are comfortable, now you can dream about becoming a device driver developer. So there are various levels to it, and first and foremost, if you are comfortable in user space programming, you should assess your level. If you are comfortable with user space programming, then you can think about kernel space programming. If you are not comfortable with user space programming, then you need more time. Okay, you need some more time. So this is what it is. So don't go for any crash courses. I tell you, it is not a video I'm doing anyone to encourage joining classes or something. I'm generally, the main objective of Linux channel is to run the show more like a video journal or something like that. I do videos in various topics meant for various categories of people. Some I take for beginners, some I take for industry architects or who are in the industry at least for 10 to 15 years or something even beyond that, and some really I take for CTOs or somebody who is in the business aspect as well as technical aspect of the industry. So wide variety of audiences I cover. So this is a video for a beginner. Okay, I'm telling you, if you are interested in systems, don't go through all this useless JDs. Don't get distracted. First, assess your comfort level. First, be a programmer, not doing some string reversals, palindrome or bitwise operations or some function pointers or some pointer magic and all that spice mixture. So do a program or do code which is useful. Try to understand an existing code which is a real code, not some examples. Okay, not some examples. Try to understand a real code, something like this. This is one example. This is a kernel which is quite complicated. Okay, if you are not interested in something like this deeper, or if you are not capable understanding this deeper, take some other example, take some user space open source projects, and then go through the source, get some familiarity, okay, and then you can dive. Once you are very good in that, once you are written some code or done some changes and you are good and comfortable, then you can get into deeper aspects of the system. Essentially, I'm telling you, one more problem is in the college they try to flip-flop between a very complicated topic and a simple topic, and the simple topics they I don't know how to say, they exaggerate, okay, they exaggerate simple stuff, they exaggerate complicated stuff, they kind of make it so simple, make it so simple. So this is the mistake college does, okay, sometimes even institutes does. So if you are in still that studying mode, I'm telling you, don't get into all this bullshit. Actually, I'm telling you, all these people are from academics, they don't have any real work experience, okay. So take from a person, or if you don't trust me, ask someone who is working in the industry, they are going to tell you the same stuff, okay. Don't take, okay, you just need to finish your college with good marks. Don't fight with your college staff, college lecturers. Get good marks in college, that's about it. Don't oppose them. They will have their own views, okay. So they tend to dive from this end to that end, okay. So that's a mistake many teaching academic background they do. Something very important to the industry, they never take that serious, or something which is evolving, something which is like which is of no use, they tend to exaggerate. They make it as an important question, and they will ask this again in the public exams and the semester exams and stuff like that, and you feel that okay, that is something I learned and it is very good for my entire life. It is not the case. So get always an opinion from a person who is working in the industry. So approach that way and go through the real code, okay. Then as you get comfortable, get into kernel code, not kernel module programming, okay. This is something all these people does this mistake. They tell kernel programming and then they teach you some hello world kernel code, which is not the way. Go to the Linux kernel, go through the source code of kernel first, okay. This is where kernel starts, okay. Keep aside textbooks, first go through the code, and then each section, when you are not able to understand, take the book and then see the intro part, and then go to the complex topics, complicated topics or advanced topics, and then go to the kernel source and match it and find it. So one more thing is, many people think that I take long videos and stuff like that. See, I want to tell one thing to many people. I seen earlier, whenever I was enabling comments, some guy will tell the real video starts at 10 minutes or real video starts at 5 minutes or something like that. See, it is like you may have a good amount of money with your dad, and you don't have any patience in your life, and you want everything fast, and I'm not some glorified movie actor to do something like magic like that. I want to talk in my pace. I want to be comfortable, relax myself, and put forward that big agenda. I'm not your boring college lecturer taking 145 minutes and then end of the day not telling the big picture. So I want to make a way that introduce to the real world. I want to take my time, and moreover, there are many people who are not able to afford getting any knowledge. So for them, it is at least they are getting something free, and they are getting some knowledge out of this. So it helps them, okay. It's not about short sessions. YouTube is optimized for 5-minute video, 10-minute video. I don't bloody care about YouTube is optimizing. So I have removed all my comments from that time onwards. I have even removed all these likes and dislikes. Some of the videos are not meant for you, so there is no point you say whether you liked this video, whether you didn't like this video. It's not meant for you. Some of the videos I shoot it for my clients. It's about Linux channel. It's not some college teaching medium or something, okay. It's not some student teaching medium or something. So don't get into all these assumptions whenever you watch any videos and assume that I'm teaching about some programming stuff. Don't assume next time I take the same episode about something about another programming stuff. This is an exception. I felt this video is good for beginners because they can connect and they can get that big picture as they are still new to their exploring this industry and getting settled in some sort of a career. So this is what. So keep that aspect. I do cover long videos. I cover generally half an hour to 45 minutes in a way that if someone comes to my home, the same amount of time I'm talking in front of the camera, the most of the times I take same amount of time. I spend around couple of hours with them, and it will be a session like this. So this is what. So I want to give the same approach even when I shoot the videos. I don't want to change anything different, and moreover, I'm not any full-time trainer or something. I have my own stuff. I think again power went off. So I have my own stuff, and let me just do this shutdown stuff, because recently it no pause, and let me just do this shutdown. So just before shooting this video, again power went off, so I don't want to run this, and I don't want to stop this video feed as well. So that's about it. So I take generally long episodes so that it gives that full picture. It gives that comfort that someone, okay, they have met me and then they are getting some valuable inputs if they find it valuable. So this is the thing. This is the reason I have removed comments. I have removed also likes, dislikes, all this. These are all social media. End of the day, YouTube is also social media. They need all these parameters. Yeah, let me just shut it down. See, they need all these parameters so that they can evaluate the comfort level, and then they can promote these videos to others as a suggested videos and other stuff. So they need all this for that AI engines. Okay, so YouTube does that, so that is fine. But I do appreciate if someone likes my video, at the same time someone subscribes my channel. So I do of course appreciate. I don't openly beg or tell anyone that they have to do that in every video, but I just subtly put a small message in my intro banner or my conclusion somewhere. So this is what. So get this big picture, and don't just see this job profiles and then don't align yourselves seeing the job profile or hearing from someone and then seeing some course structure in an institute and then dream about next day you will become some embedded developer or something like that. Before getting into embedded developer, there can be a person who is an expert in C. He can easily get into embedded space in I think roughly some couple of weeks of crash course is enough for him, because he is already an expert in C development or something he must have done in user space. He may be already an expert, so it is not an issue for him. But if you are a beginner, don't dream about device drivers stuff. It is a sort of eyewash or brainwash, whatever. So don't dream about all that. First be a system software developer, next be a kernel expert. Then if you still feel it is interesting, and if you are having that capability, okay, not everyone can become. So if you have the capability, then you can think about getting very deep into something like device driver. So that's what. So yeah, yet another long video. So hope you guys loved watching this episode. In case if you have anything to discuss, or in case if you have any questions like this in your career to decide, be in touch via mail. Thanks a lot for joining me. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.